So I've taught cybersecurity for quite a few years now. I've taught also at the K-12 level, middle school and high school. And one of the places that I like to start at with the students is using microbits. And so in this video, we're going to show you a little bit about microbits and what they are and how to use these in your class. One of the components of cybersecurity is learning a little bit about programming and understanding programming logic. And that's where I think these microbits come in very handy. They're very simple to understand, and they're very easy to use in a middle school, high school, or even elementary school setting. There's curriculum that already exists, and this video is going to overview some of how to use a microbit in your classroom, and at the end there'll be a link, and you can take a look at some other resources that are on my website. So my recommendation is, for your class, you have 2 people per microbit. If you can afford to get 1 per person, that's okay too, but pair programming is a pretty good standard to work with. So if somebody can't figure something else out, maybe their partner can figure it out. And so these are a very affordable solution to that. They are from the BBC, and there's several different manufacturers, and on my site I list a few different places you can get them from, and they have classroom sets of 10. So when you look at these, there's a couple different versions, version 1 and essentially version 2 of it. The first version doesn't have a speaker, and so that's the weak part of that device. The newer ones have the speaker on there. If you open up the little box, the kit, it's going to be in this little bag. It's an anti-static bag, and so that protects the microbit. So if we just slide one of these out here, we'll take a quick peek, and I'll show you what the benefit to this is. So this is a microbit, and a microbit has the microprocessor and all kinds of sensors built into this little one chip. So you can do a lot of basic computer programming with this little chip here. On one side, it has a little grid of LED lights, and then there are buttons here, so you can have something for button A, button B, and if you press both of these, that can be a different action. It has a sensor for detecting if you're shaking something. It has a compass, so you can do compass type assignments based like that. And then this connects to the computer. You can use your Chromebook. So you can use your Chromebook if you want to. I'm going to be using my little Mac today, but you could use whatever type of computer you want to, or Windows will work. And I guess in theory you could actually use this with a tablet as well, but I would recommend using a computer, a Chromebook, or a Mac for this. With these kits, if you order the kits, they're classroom sets. Usually they come with batteries, and so you'd have something like that chip. It might come with a little battery pack that kind of looks like this, and that cable plugs in right to this here. And then oftentimes it will have a couple batteries that come with it. Depending on which link you click on, the classroom set might look a little bit different. It might come with a few extra things. There's some of them, if you look online, that have extra components, and I give you a link to some of those components as well, because you can buy little solar panels, you can buy different sensors. There's a really neat one for, you put it in a pot and it will detect water levels and soil, water levels there. So I would recommend that you actually start with the software, teaching them some stuff there before you actually pull out the microbits and do some work. And so I'll give you this link at the website if you want to go there as well, but it is makecode.microbit.org, and you go here. One of the benefits of this site is it requires no logins. You don't need one for you as a teacher, you don't need one for the students. There's nothing to set up here, you can just go here. It works from Chromebooks, it works from Windows, it works from Macs, so it works just fine. When you get here, you can create a new project, or there's these starter projects down here. And some of these projects are going to walk you through exactly what to do, and others are going to have just little steps kind of written up there. So let's just try making a dice or die. When you click on one of these presets, it's going to come up and give you a few options. We're going to learn block coding first, especially at middle school and elementary school. That teaches them the basic process and concept of how a program works, and then you could build up to Python and JavaScript later on. So we're just going to go to blocks. We'll go here and we'll hit OK. then it gives us some nice simple instructions. So on shake, so when we shake this microbit, when we shake the microbit, we want it to do something. So from the basic category, we're going to get show number. So basic, show number. And we just have to drag that on here. So on shake, it's going to show a number. And then we want to, we've already placed it in there. So we'll go to the next step here. Press the white shake button on the microbit. So see the shake button. And so you'll see a 0, because a 0 is what's plugged in there. Well, a die has 6 sides, so we'll need to change that. So we'll go here, and under math, we're going to do pick random. So math, pick random. We'll just drag that little pick random into that circle, and you'll see it kind of snaps. And then a dice has 1 through 6, so we'll plug in 1 through 6. I think I jumped to the next step. That's probably what it's going to say here. 1 through 6. Then we'll hit next. If we hit shake, it will come up with a number 1 through 6. So the emulator shows everything that the actual microbit would do. When we're finished with the program, we could click download, and that would save it to our computer in case we wanted to come back to it. Otherwise, I'll just click done. When I click done, it exits me out from that tutorial mode, and it'll get me here to where I can see all the functions of the microbit. So at this point, maybe you've spent a half day kind of introducing some of the concepts here, running through some of the base tutorials. Then we can actually start to look at the microbits. So you can see on the screen, this looks very much like the one that you see there. It does have a battery pack. The benefit of the battery pack is that after you have your program saved on here, you can take it around the room or take it to the front of the room and then shake it in front of the class to be able to show that that works. A couple tricks with the cable. It goes in one direction and only one direction only. So if you try it and it doesn't go in, then you need to flip it to the other side and it goes in that way. There is a little line, matches up to the line here, so it'll only go in one way. The other thing to help your students when they pull it out, don't pull it by the cables. There's a little white little ledge at there. It's kind of hard to see there on the camera. Maybe we'll try to get it a little closer here. So there's a little ledge. It's kind of hard to see there on the camera, but right towards the black right there. And if we pull from there, that's going to be a little safer than just pulling the cable. Otherwise, you might break this cable. So I don't need the battery pack for now. I would recommend getting a long USB cable because the one that usually comes with it is teeny. And so for at least you, the teacher, you probably should have a longer cable. So we'll take this, plug in this USB cable, and plug the USB cable that came with it just right into the connection here. Make sure I've got it on the right side. And plug it right in. Make sure I have it on the right side. I'll plug it right in here. And then when you turn it on, when you plug it in, you'll see that little yellow light kind of comes on. That means it's initializing. Once it's plugged in, we do need to go down here to where we have the 3 dots here. And if it's not already connected, I'll just connect this one. I go to connect device. So down here, the 3 dots, connect device. I plug in the microbit, click next. It's going to connect me here when I click pair. And so whatever device it finds, it's going to find it here. I hit connect. So I've got it connected now. It's all linked up. You just have to click on that little link there and you're good to go. And then I'll hit download and you'll see that the little yellow light on the back here does flash a little bit as it's downloading. And you'll see it on the screen also downloading the file. And then once it downloads, we'll have the program loaded on this. We can plug in our battery pack and go around the classroom. Or if you have a long USB cable, then you could probably demonstrate it from the front of the class, there. It's still downloading. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Okay, cool. So it's working now. There's 4, 5, 3. So every time I shake it, it's going to give me a random number between 1 and 6. So that's our first successful little program there. While we have this program opened, I'm going to show you just a couple other little things. We'll just show you how to make one of these buttons. So from input, if I click on input, you'll see on button. And so if I did on button, I could drag this down here. And then I can have it do some sort of action. One of the most basic things for it to do is just to display something and like an icon. So I'll just go to basic, show icon. I drag that in there, and let's just do maybe a check mark. So now when I go over to the emulator, I hit A, that gives me my check mark, and then when I shake it, it gives me a number. That way it kind of gives me a little bit of a reset. If I download that, the second time we have the program downloaded, it's going to be a lot faster. So here we are, we got this. I press the A button, there's my little check mark, and then when I shake it, I will get my number. There you go. Now there is a couple interesting programs in here that I kind of like. The one with the light level is actually pretty interesting. It's slightly more advanced, but it also kind of walks you through it. So if I just go back out here to Microbit, we're going to look forward a little bit. Now if you keep on scrolling down here, there are games. This has radio, so you can send messages back and forth between a couple different microbits. If you have the one with the speaker, it can make some tones and noises. There's some science. If you buy some of those plugs like the water metering, you can do that one pretty easy. The compass is kind of interesting, but the one that I want to do is this light level meter. I kind of think that's a neat one. So if we do light level meter, we're going to start the tutorial in blocks. We'll hit OK. Create a variable called reading. So we'll click on variables. We'll make a variable, and we'll call reading. This would be an opportunity where you can tell them how variables work in programming and how we can reuse that same thing after we've named it a variable in multiple pieces of code. So we'll hit OK. And then to set the current light level inside the forever loop. So we're going to set the reading on forever. So we drag that over to forever. And then we're going to go to light level, which is pink, which is an input. And I'm going to drag that over to the little 0 there. So now it's using the sensors on here to detect the light level that's around us. Okay, so I need to plot a bar graph. So we'll add that bar graph over here on forever. It's going to be of the reading, so I'll do variable reading. And when we want to set the level up to 255, in RGB color, there's 255 values, so that just sets it to the maximum here. And so you'll see when I have a lot of light, there's more LEDs lit up, and when I have less light, there's less LEDs lit up. Okay? So that's all working there. Now we want to actually show that value as well from the 1 to 255. So we'll do show a number, put that on start of the reading value if button A is pressed. So actually we want input, button A is pressed, but we want to make this conditional on an if. So we'll do if true, button A is pressed. So when button A is pressed, we want it to show the number for that reading. So we'll drag the variable over here. So now we have that forever loop that's graphing this, but then when I press A, it's going to display the number 128 because that's the current lighting value in here. This little trick comes in handy to help you problem solve because we actually wanted that to be forever. So if I go here and hit A, it should scroll across my numbers. We'll click next, we'll hit done. I'll hit download on my microbit. It'll take it a couple seconds to kind of refresh here. It blinks off and then it should come back on. And right now I don't have a whole lot of light here. Not sure if it's gonna maybe have more reflected from my window over there. I can also get a little light off the screen. So now that it's done, I can put this on my battery pack, walk around the room, and as I have different amounts of light around the room, you'll see that it will detect that light level, and then when I press the A button, it will display that numerical value for that light level. So some other things that I've done in the past that have kind of been interesting is to just try to get them to do a little animation. So real easy to do, we'll just do animation here, or animate. So what we can do forever if we're trying to kind of loop something over is go to basic show LEDs, and we'll just drag in a bunch of these. Okay. So you can do something relatively simple. So maybe we have a ship kind of come into the picture. So we do this, and then we have the next one. And then we have the next one. So you can let them be creative and come up with whatever they would like to animate. That'd actually be that one there, okay. And so I could just keep on adding these on, and then I can make it leave the screen. So let's say we're here. And I'll speed this up a little bit so you don't have to watch all these individual little steps. So lots of different ways to do animation. You can see I've done a little simple ship here. We could add a mast if we wanted to and have something go across. You can have a circle move around the screen. But that kind of gives you an idea of what stop motion animation would be. There is a little zoom out here, so if you need to zoom out for the program, when you finish it, you can download it to the microbit, or you could save it locally. You just download it as a file, and that way your students could have that on their computer. But if I download that, it'll take it just a couple seconds, and then you'll see and have my little animation now on my microbit. So lots and lots of stuff you can do. It gets a lot more advanced than this. Go to the website, take a peek. You can see some of the links there. Explore microbit. There's even more advanced things. You can put this chip into a robot, make a little car, control it via a remote control or different things. There's lots and lots of accessories made for this, including that one that I was talking about earlier for monitoring soil and water in soil. So lots of tools and things that you can play with there. The link to the website is in the description, and you can take a peek there, and there's more information in all the links I've talked about today.